Hi everyone, happy Women History Month. My name is Lisa Huang-North and I'm currently a product lead at Planet, a space technology company that's using space to help life on Earth. In celebration of Women History Month, I've had the amazing opportunity to speak with 8 product leaders over the past few months. And today, I'd love to share their stories with you in this 8-part interview series, which I'm calling The Paths to Product. Today, we'll get to hear the story of Pavi Theva, who is currently a program manager at Amazon.
So thank you, Pavi, for joining us today. I'm very excited to hear about your path to product. And as an intro for everyone who is watching or listening, Pavi Theva is here with us, and she is currently a program manager at Amazon. And she has a very diverse career path from data analyst through to solutions consulting, through to risk management, even strategy consulting, marketing analytics, and now product management. Welcome, Pavi.
Hey, Lisa, great to be here. Thank you for having me on your show.
Of course, yeah, and I would love to hear a little more about your journey and your path into product.
Yeah, I'm super happy to talk about my journey. I came to the US in 2015 to pursue my master's in information systems. I went to Kelley School of Business, Indiana University, and I majored in strategy and analytics. After graduation, I joined Ernst& Young because, I always wanted to work for a big four tech consulting, as I knew that I'll get exposed to different business problems and technologies of Fortune 500 companies. It would be a great start to understand more about the tech industry. During my time there at E&Y, I got interested in strategy, BizOps, and analytics related work. I also really like the fast-paced environment of EY. Most of my client projects were short term, and I did not get to see the actual impact of my work on the business. I decided to move to a tech startup in San Francisco called Sonder. And Sonder, they are a hospitality tech startup that offer beautiful apartment spaces for travelers and corporate clients in Airbnb style, and offer all the services that a hotel provides, which I found super interesting. I joined as a strategy and BizOps analyst in Sonder, but I wore different hats and worked with finance, customer operations, sales, marketing, and the product org. During my time there, I recognized that I'm a problem solver. I am good with data, and I can get things done by collaborating and driving alignment across different teams. This made me realize that I'll be a great fit for a PM role, and Amazon has always been my dream company to work for. I started going for a lot of meetups in Bay Area to meet a lot of product managers and program managers. I spoke with a lot of PMs in Amazon to understand about their day-to-day, and I assessed my skill set and experience and decided that the PM role in Amazon would be a great fit in the right direction. And here I am today working as a PM for Amazon's grocery business, building products and solving complex problems for our delivery and fulfillment operations to run efficiently at scale.
That's wonderful. And I love the fact that you share how you went from strategy to effectively cutting your teeth in a startup environment at Sonder, where you got to wear multiple hats from what it sounds like, and really got to work across the business with different stakeholders before pursuing your dream team within Amazon. So congratulations, first of all.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting. That actually gives me a great segue. I know for some people who are transitioning into product, they often hear a few different titles. I think we hear about product owners, we hear about product manager, and we hear about program manager. And I see that at Amazon, I believe program manager is the terminology. Can you share a little bit as to how that may overlap, or is program manager product manager?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was on the same boat a few years ago, trying to understand the differences in these different job titles like program manager, product owner, and so on. And it can be confusing for someone who wants to break into product. At Amazon, the program manager role is a good blend of strategy, product, and project management. It's focused more on the execution side to meet business goals and metrics. That involves working with the engineering teams to launch and roll out products. You're essentially that glue between the business and the tech counterparts. To my knowledge, for someone early in their career looking for entry level or mid level career opportunities who are interested to work for Amazon, I would think that the program manager would be a great start since the product roles are mostly for people with 5+ years of experience.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is the program management function at Amazon has a broader scope. Actually, the fact that you're both wearing the product manager hat, understanding customers, understanding of why, being a champion and being the voice of customer, as well as the business alignment and execution phase. That's where program really comes into it. You're looking over the bigger initiative across a company. Is that right?
Yep, exactly.
Wonderful. It's great to hear that at Amazon. It's actually a combination of those, which keep things dynamic as well. Linking into that, I'd love to hear what are some of the key skills and the qualities that are crucial for a program manager to succeed at Amazon.
Amazon emphasizes a lot on the 14 leadership principles. I'm sure you'd have heard about that. These principles act as guidelines and they really help me to reflect on my strengths and my growth opportunities and constantly improve towards becoming a great PM. Based on my experience, I'd say that these three principles are really important for a PM to perform great at Amazon. The first one is customer obsession, which is keeping the customer in mind and working backwards from that. Building empathy for your customer is a really important skill set to have. And the second one is earning trust. As a PM, you're kind of a glue between the different tech teams and business teams, and you have to make things happen by collaborating, by influencing, and aligning everyone on the vision. So, effective communication skills, relationship building skills are super important. And the third one is bias for action. Since Amazon is super fast paced and speed really matters, as a PM you want to really balance between deep diving and making quicker product choices by evaluating the short term and the long term path and making the right trade-offs and taking calculated risks. I feel that critical thinking is a very important skill set to have as a PM in Amazon.
Prioritization sounds to be a big
Yep.
one. Yeah, where
Yes,
how can you filter and go for low hanging fruits as well as delivering maximum value?
exactly.
Yeah,
Yep, you nailed it.
that's actually a great segue because I recently read with COVID, the shift from in-person shopping to online shopping, as well as in the grocery delivery space, has really experienced high
Yes.
growth. One of the articles I came across actually said that Amazon Prime subscription income grew nearly 29% as demand for online shopping skyrocketed. Given that that is the space and the product you're working on, I really love to hear about some of the surprises and maybe challenges that you have faced with building a really high growth product this year.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great question. Like you said, our online grocery sales has tripled year over year as more customers are now relying on getting groceries delivered versus going to the physical store due to the COVID pandemic and all of that. It has become increasingly challenging to and also important to provide our global delivery and operations with the product capabilities that would allow them to scale and decrease the operational burden. One of the challenges we face is to provide real time visibility of the last mile tech and under the roof operations. And that meant building real time analytical capabilities to enable our operational customers to staff appropriately and take effective data driven decisions to prevent customer defects and make sure that the orders meet customer promise time. We also focused a lot this year on building tools that will enable our operations to standardize their processes and improve the efficiency of the operations. We enhanced our product feature set very quickly to meet these scaling demands without a proportional increase in the variable cost by focusing a lot on customer service technologies such as automatic assignment of tasks, load balancing of tasks, telephony integration, and enhanced communication technologies to enable the seamless execution of operations.
Wow. Okay, so you've been busy.
Yes, always.
I love hearing that combination between internal processes as well as scaling. Cost is clearly an important factor, and keeping that in mind that as you're scaling to serve the customer, internal teams and internal processes really need to be solid as well to support that delivery. Because on the flip side of that, complaints may rise, or post delivery, or even ensuring fulfillment and staffing are in place. You can see how there's just so many dimensions that you have to consider as the product continue to grow. Thank you for sharing that. That was really helpful insight. So I have two more questions. What are some of your go-to resources to stay on top of industry trends?
TechCrunch and GeekWire are my go-to resources to learn more about tech. And I also love attending tech conferences to expand my network, inspiring product stories, and learn about emerging tech. I attended the Grace Hopper conference and the Women in Product conference this year, and it was absolutely amazing, although it was virtual. And I also love listening to podcasts, and Master of Scale and How I Built It are my favorite ones. Other than that, I also participate in events organized by various nonprofit organizations like Women in Product, Advancing Women in Product. During this health crisis, Facebook and LinkedIn groups have really helped me to stay in touch with the product people, and to stay on top of industry trends.
I love the conferences as well, and I think in fact this year, even though most conferences moved to virtual and it's not quite a one-to-one translation, but I love the fact that virtual conference has opened up the attendance as well, since folks don't have to travel and pay for flight and take time off work. I found that I was able to connect with PMs from all across the country and different cities, different industries. And that's how I connected with you, actually,
Yeah, we
through
met
my
at
product.
GSP. Yes, yeah, it was a great experience.
Final question, something a little more fun. What is the one piece of advice you would give to your 20-year-old something self? Maybe just someone who's looking to transition and explore their path into product.
Yeah, that's a tough question. So,
I know picking just one is always the tricky one.
I would say don't try very hard to plan your path. I always wanted to have my 5-year plan, my 10-year plan laid out when I was 20 years old. And I used to feel very anxious and overwhelmed all the time, beating myself up that, I don't have it all figured out. But the goal, I think, when you're early in your career should actually be to experiment, to learn, to fail, and repeat, keep learning from your failures, embrace them, keep experimenting. And any job you land at, I think the focus should be on delivering results and building great partnership with your people that you work with. Because I think these two things are super important when you start out, because you are building your brand and you're building those relationships who can advocate for you and help you when you're in need. To summarize, although it's not one piece of advice, I would say don't beat yourself up to have it all figured out. Keep experimenting, learn from your failures and embrace them, and focus on giving your best at your job.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. It's something that I've seen more and more as I progress in my career as well, is that hindsight's 2020. When we're looking forward, it can be hard to imagine what could come, and sometimes it's beyond our wildest dreams and what we can plan for as well. I love what you said about focusing on relationship and focusing on learning and kind of failing forward, which is a big one. Thank you again for taking the time today to share your path to product with me and with the community. If folks would like to reach out to you after, is there a best way?
LinkedIn would be a great way to reach out. I also have a channel on Instagram called Growmance, which is focused on personal growth. So I'm pretty active there as well. So happy to talk to people through Instagram as well. Thank you so much for having me here. It was great talking through my journey with you.
Wonderful. I hope you enjoyed today's interview series, and be sure to check back to hear from the other 7 amazing product leaders. Thank you, and happy Women's History Month.